So this is going to be one of those long videos. My biological mother is the technical eldest, though she had an older brother named Danny who had passed away before she was, I think, in second or third grade or younger than that. He had passed away because he and a bunch of friends went to the pond or swimming hole, and none of them knew how to swim, and he fell in the water. And so, whatchamacallit, the technicalities, my biological mother was technically the eldest of 5 children. There was Edith and Chris or Christine, and then Leonard and Neil. So I'm going to go in reference of Christine. We did not get along. It was a mutual understanding that we did not get along at all, whatsoever. When at my maternal grandmother's graduation for college, I had painted a swan as a present for her. And I got in trouble by my biological aunt, Christine. Ironically, Christine from Jade Wolf Coven despised that aspect of the way I say that. And my biological aunt, Christine, was literally a hippie in the 60s and 70s. She was how she was. And she had a daughter. I don't know whether or not she knew who the biological father was. That is what it is. At my maternal grandmother's graduation, there was a guy who she had met at the college, and I was essentially sent to go with her to go walking. And the guy from college was like, "Oh, do you smoke?" And I looked at him like, "Cigarettes? I could try one of those." And he laughed, and then he pat me on the head, and I looked at him, much taller than me, and I'm like, "Don't do that." And he was just, "Oh, okay, you got a little attitude." It's like, don't let my fairy size fool you. I will pull you off of that train track, because they were walking on the train tracks, and I'll do stuff. Don't let my size fool you. And I don't remember what Christine's daughter's name was. I think it was Megan. I'm not certain. But, she was however she was, and the guy was like, "No, I'm talking about a different type of smoke." Is it legal? That was my... And so the cousin had basically been like, "Well, do you even understand what this is?" And blah, 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 and something about a dime bag or whatever. And I'm like, it used to only cost a dime to make a phone call. And the guy looked at me and goes, "Oh my God, what did you just say?" I said, it used to only cost a dime to make a phone call. Did it cost a dime for what's in that bag? No. But it used to be called, we still call it, and like he started stuttering a bunch. I'm like, Well, my cousin was all, "Oh, don't embarrass me. You're such a prude." And it's like, what did I do? Like, I don't understand. Does it cost a dime or Like, I don't understand. What is this? And so, later on, at the graduation ceremony, Christine was, oh, well, she's going to do this and she's going to do that. And Christine kept bragging to Mike and Anna, my biological parents. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, she'll do stuff. That's cool. But you can't live through your daughter. I don't know if you know that. You have to be you. And that was the breaking point for Christine, my biological aunt. How dare you speak to me like that? I will say that was one of the few times Mike stepped in to be like, oh, no. You don't have any room to talk. Like, at all on no. And so basically, my biological aunt Christine had been at, of course, my biological parents' wedding. Well, she showed up at like 2:30 in the morning, drunk and on whatever, banging on the door like, oh, let me in, like, the wedding's tomorrow. And everyone's like, yeah. Uh-huh. And so there was, the amount of drama with that one. Anyway, fast forward to several different events where she and I did not get along. She knew that I was looking at the military. Oh, you're gonna be a murderer. No, no, it's not a murder. But, you could stop with that because, you need to get over whatever you don't understand. And so she was just, well, in my day, yeah, well, it's not your day anymore. You hit your prime many years ago. Many years ago. Oh, that did not go well with her at all. At all whatsoever. I was in high school at that time. And it wasn't a high school attitude. It was stating the truth. And it was just, you hit your prime when you were a freshman. That was it. Like, that was your peak. And you had the choice of whether you were going to go be better or, where you are now. And that's where you're at. And so, not to be rude or whatever, but don't be talking about military stuff that you don't understand. And then she went on to say that she had personally been a part of causing harm to military guys. For those who understand, New Jersey attitude was fresh because just had moved to Illinois. It was, I lit into her. She didn't know what to do. She just, yeah, you keep that mouth like that, and I went there. Those who knew me pre-headedry could very easily see me saying that. And yes. And so I just lit it to her. She runs to Anna. Anna yells at me about being mean or whatever. And but it was like right there. She did it to herself, literally and figuratively. And don't you talk about her like that. So then, she went and got Mike, and Mike came over and, he's like, Susan, come here. We're going to go walk right now. And I could tell he was trying so hard not to laugh. We're gonna go talk. Your mother told me what happened. Oh. we went out front of Lenny's house, my uncle, my biological uncle. Did you really say that? Your Aunt Chris. Yes, I did. I'll say it again. I got a few other things I want to say to her after what I just was told. And he was just... So, fast forward after my head injury on Palm Sunday in 2000. I was not allowed to go to the family reunion because my biological Aunt Christine wouldn't show up if I showed up, which didn't really bother my biological mother or my biological sister because, you know, I didn't wind up finding out about it until they were in Misery. It's where she was living at the time. And so then it was just one of those, well, I was already dealing with stuff when it came to my children. So I was like, yeah, but you could at least let me know. I mean, realistically, you could have at least told me, no, okay, I'm not that important, okay. And then it was, well, you know, your Aunt Christine is still a little bit bitter about a few things. Well, you know, she needs to, like, get over it. Well, then there was one Christmas where my maternal grandmother showed up along with my biological Aunt Christine, and I was told last minute. I was told last minute. It was literally like, I think it was the day before Christmas Eve that I was informed that I had to get an extra Christmas gift. I wasn't getting one for Christine. I wasn't doing it. I refused to. I refused to. But, you know, my maternal grandmother. Well, then my biological mother told me that my maternal grandmother had to denounce everyone to be a part of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. And I was like, excuse me, that includes, like, my children? And that in turn means me? And Anna was like, yeah. And you're okay with that? Yeah. Oh. I'm not at all. She told me that right before I had to go pick up a Christmas gift. I was mad. I was so mad. So I went to the store and I found a very pretty cross. Very pretty cross. And it had all these paintings and blah, blah, blah. And at that time, it was whatever year the little Christmas critters was on that year. And on the South Park thing. And I had overheard it. And then it was like, oh, I need to watch that. That sounds funny. And so I watched the rerun because I was like, ooh, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's funny. Oh, they got a sense of humor. Whoever made that, that's some funny stuff right there. I am a fan. I can't really watch much of it, but I could listen. That's cool. I can watch it easier than I can watch some other shows, so that's cool. And so I didn't have to force myself to actually look at the TV screen nearly as much. So I wrapped that cross. And, you know, go up to my maternal grandmother and I'm like, you know, I got you a Christmas gift here. And she was like, oh, and she did the typical, oh, you didn't have to. It's like, why are you lying to me? Why are you lying to me? What grandmother travels to another state for Christmas and doesn't expect something as a gift? What grandmother, it doesn't matter, maternal or paternal side, I'm just throwing that out there. That's a rhetorical question. The answer is none. There's not one maternal, paternal grandmother that is not going to expect a gift when she shows up. Duh. And so, maternal grandmother starts opening it up and she pulls out the cross and she goes, oh, and I said, hail Satan! And I did it in the voice. And she just looked up at me, and I did not have this hair at that time, mind you. I still had like the long hair, natural brown, all that, stuff. And it was to like here, or maybe here somewhere around there. And she's like, oh my God, when was your head injury? And I was like, Palm Sunday of 2000. Merry Christmas! And she was just like, oh my God! What? Hail Satan, right? And she just... My tummy still hurts. Like, I laughed so much that the whole, 2 weeks, all the way past it to the new year, anytime I thought about that, ooh, my tummy hurts laughing so much. And just, now it's for a different reason nonetheless. So, my now dead ex-husband was so proud of me doing, that was like the one story of what I did where he was like, that was so awesome. I didn't see that coming. I was like, you don't see a lot of stuff that I do coming. Like, seriously. That I can't even, but yeah, And so my biological Aunt Christine was mortified. How dare you? Really? Really? Hold up. This is another reason why my now dead ex-husband was just flabbergasted, floored, just, oh wow, you really went there. And it was just one of those. So let me understand this. You are going to throw a temper tantrum because of my gift after what you have done in your lifetime. You're really going to throw a temper tantrum right now. I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. Pretend, and it is pretend, you know it is. How dare you? Oh, how could you say that about me? I just did. You heard the words that came out of my mouth. Don't pretend you're offended because you're some angel. Please, please, please do not attempt to speak at me as if you are innocent in any way, shape, or form. Please, please do not. And she just, well, and she looks at her husband and she goes, Brian, I need you to, and I was like, yeah. And he just looks over at me and he's like, yeah, angelic. I don't think so. And they run to another room. She's crying. I was like, Did you cause any of the military guys you messed with to cry? I don't feel bad that you're crying. I'd lick your face if I could. And my maternal grandmother just still holding the cross like this, just, oh my God. Yes, Grandma, how may I help you? Are you okay? Do you need a glass of water? Would you like some coffee? I thought she was just holding out the cross, just, oh my God. And I'm just like, yes, Grandma, what would you like? Can I get you something? My biological father, Mike, had to sit down, laughing so hard, did not care my biological mother was all, how dare you? And it's like, yeah, okay, again. You want to be all, what? You went to college when, and you never smoked what? When you never even smelled it. My biological mother tried to tell me that going to college in New Jersey, she not only, okay, maybe she never smoked, okay, but she never once smelled marijuana on a college campus in the state of New Jersey. The fact my maternal grandmother was graduating for getting her like theology degree for the Catholic Church, and they were, please, I don't think so. Liar, Anna. Liar. Do not liar. It doesn't even matter it was the state of New Jersey. Any college campus. Do not tell me you never once smelled marijuana. Do not tell me that. Liar. I do not believe you. Maybe if it was like a Christian college, but definitely not Rutgers University when you're going to the botany department. No. I do not believe you. And I told her that I still do not believe she never once smelled marijuana at Rutgers University in whether it was this, I think it was this end of the 60s into the 1970s. Do not believe it at all. No, she may never have smoked it, but do not tell me that there was not any marijuana on a college campus in the late 1960s into the mid to late 1970s. And in the area of a botany department where they work on plants. No, not at all. Not at all. No. You could try to say that, because she did. She tried to say she was like Pollyanna, and I was like, yeah, maybe if you're talking about Pollyanna cracker, Anna, like that's about it. And yeah, Rose, and yeah, I don't think so. I do not believe you. At all, whatsoever. Still don't. At all. At all. I would guesstimate there might be somebody that could verify at Rutgers University in that time frame that there was probably just a little bit of a teeny tiny specific type of fragrance. Maybe, hypothetically speaking, maybe in the late 1960s to the mid to late 1970s, because she got her master's degree there. Please do not, yeah. So back to that Christmas. Brian is trying to calm my biological Aunt Christine down. Gets her calm. My maternal grandmother calms down enough, and she's just like, well, it's so wonderful to see you. Oh, you actually mean that? Yes, oh my God. I'm so happy to see you. And it's like, I'm happy to see you too. You're not mad at me, right? No, that was a great joke. I really liked it. I was like, okay, cool. Because you're that one. You know, she doesn't matter nearly as much. Thank you so much. Awesome. Great. You're smiling. That's cool. Awesome. Cool. I'm glad and Anna tried to say that she was so offended. No. Straight out of my maternal grandmother's mouth. No, she finally I can laugh at something that's funny instead of, type of thing. And so I was like, cool. Well, I had gotten into certain pagan studies again, I should say, and I had said something. Oh, that's right. I had said, well, and trying to smooth things over, I said, well, happy belated Samhain. and I had forgot it was Samhain, Samhain. You know, it depends on where realistically you were in certain areas. Some places did actually say Samhain, and others said Samhain. It depended on the accent. However, my biological Aunt Christine looks at me and she goes, "Excuse you." Yes. If you're trying to impress me, no, I'm not. But go ahead. Well, either way, it is pronounced Samhain. A real Wiccan would know that. Did I say I was wicked? Did I say that? Did those words come out of my mouth? No, they did not. Okay. Happy Samhain. Like just. So the rest of that Christmas was not nearly as entertaining up to that point. Like oh wait, there was one other point. So my biological Aunt Christine went to whatever wine area. Mike and Anna don't really drink. Like they drink but not. Mike likes brandy. Mike likes scotch. You don't really like drink that a lot. Anna likes pina coladas and, you know, mixed fruity drinks. Doesn't really like wine. So Christine was all, "Oh, the only wine you have is a blush?" That's how she said it. I look at her, I'm like, "You are not in your house. If you want to drink specialty wine, you can do that in your house. You are at my biological parents' house. You will drink whatever is available, and if you don't like it, go to the store and pick up your own. You don't have to be a snobby." And then New Jersey came out as far as words, and biological Aunt Christine was all pissy some more. And then, "Brian, can you believe she's so rude?" I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I have nothing to go off of on this. So then, you know, fast forward to, I think it was 2012, 2011. I am very proud of myself because we were in the kitchen. And those who have been to my biological parents' house know how many knife blocks they had on the counter throughout. Not forgetting drawers full of knives. I like knives a lot. So then Christine, or biological Aunt Christine, thought that she was going to mouth off to me. And at first, she was talking about her daughter, how she was in some art school in Canada. She had to go all the way to Canada to be able to get into an art school? Like, she didn't get into an art school in the United States of America? And she was like, she could have. Well, why didn't she? Well, you know, it's a prestigious art school. In Canada? I mean, maybe there is. But, like, aren't the prestigious art schools in the United States on the East Coast? Or the West Coast? Or England? Or France? Like, really France. She got into one in Canada, okay? Is that the only one that accepted her? Oh, biological Aunt Christy was. How dare you talk about my daughter like that? How much extra does it cost to go to college in another country compared to the United States of America? Just out of curiosity. You gonna learn the same stuff? Not necessarily. She gets, like, and she talked about the socialized medicine. That's nice. I've had this discussion a whole bunch of times up to this point in Austin and Dallas and San Antonio. So yeah, you're not gonna say anything at all. Biological Aunt Christine, and the legal last name for my biological mother was Lally. L as in Lima, A as in Alpha, L as in Lima, L as in Lima, Y as in Yankee. Edith, Christine, Leonard, and Neil, their maiden or whatever last name is Gavitt. G as in golf, A as in Alpha, V as in Victor, E as in Echo, or A as in Alpha, T as in Tango, T as in Tango. I think there's 2 T's, or there might be 1. Either way, yeah. So at that point, my biological Aunt Christine was working at a prison system in Missouri as an optometrist part-time. And my paternal grandmother was living in the mother-in-law suite or whatever. And so proud of myself. So proud of myself. So biological Aunt Christine felt that it would be a good idea to say, well, maybe it's karma for you, what's happening to your daughter. You're welcome for your freedom to say that, was all I could muster. I'm looking at the kitchen. Not one section of the kitchen did not have a block of a lot of knives. I was right next to a really big drawer that had a whole bunch of knives. So much self-control. So much self-control. Looked at her and I said, after that, you're welcome for your freedom. I recommend you keep your nose on your side of the fence. I don't know who you think you're talking to, but it would be a shame if something happened to your daughter, if you want to talk about karma. And I just turned around, looked at all those knives, looked at the drawer full of knives. Like, all I had to do was lightly open it and there were a whole bunch of knives. But instead, I just looked and looked at my biological Aunt Christine. Anna, I'm gonna go to the garage. Okay, you deal with your sister. Why? What could she have said that was... Go in the garage. My biological father had every single fan on in there. How long have you been in here? The entire time your Aunt Christine has been here. Hey, you got room for one more? I smoke. And he was just like, well, what'd she say? And I'm like, I need to calm down. I need to calm down. She wound up saying something to Anna beforehand that I defended Anna for. But then she said what it took everything not to introduce her personally to each and every one of those knives. It took everything in me not to use each and every one of those knives. And that was all I could say to Mike. And he was just like, oh, she's being herself. And it's like, ooh. Yeah. I don't think if that's what. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And he's looking at me, and he's sitting in his chair. He leans back and he looks at me. He's like, "Your entire face, your arms are the color of your hair." She kind of upset me. She kind of made me really, 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 really mad. And I was about to go gardening for you, 'cause what she said, I can only tell you what she said about your wife. I cannot, when it comes to my daughter. And he was like, she said something about Lydia. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're not going to talk about that. There's a lot of knives in your kitchen. I could use them. A lot of them. I could use every single one. You'd have a really, really green grass and garden, and maybe a little extra for some of your neighbors. And he was just, what did she say? I was like, I can't right now. I can't. Just saying, I can't right now. I can't. Because if I go and repeat what she said, ooh, I'm gonna lose it. No, I can't right now. I can't. And he's just, I remember you taking gymnastics, but the only time I have ever seen you do stuff like that was like right before you went into Taekwondo competition. I'm like, oh, and what place did I get? Oh, that's right. Second or third in form and sparring. Well, I'm just gonna, okay, and Mike's just looking at me like, what did she say? I'm like, I need to calm down. I'm a little mad. It's like, the fans are on high. You need to calm down. I'm trying. I am trying. You don't have a punching bag in here. And he's like, no. Oh, that's a shame. Can't use her face like I want to. Maybe she'll actually be decent looking. And he goes, that's funny. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not joking. And in that time frame of that explanation, I smoked 3/4 of a fresh pack of cigarettes. It was literally one inhale out because it had been pulled to the draw to the freaking filter. And he's just, you mad? Yes, I am so mad. I am so mad. I have every right to be mad. Well, then Anna comes in the garage. You upset your Aunt Chris. Are you really going to take her side? Well, she's my sister. My daughter is your grandchild, and I am your daughter. Who? What? Why? Mike, if he could have moved the chair into the desk that he was at, there have been very few times I have ever seen that man's eyes round. Like, round. He's first generation Chinese. His eyes were rounder than mine. And it's just, ooh, what did your sister say? Anna relays only part of what my biological Aunt Christine said. And I look at her, you want to add the rest? And she goes, it's not as important. I looked at the desk and I'm like, oh, that piece of furniture is so lucky right now because Mike is in front of it because I want to pick it up and throw it at you. She looked at me and she goes, ha ha ha, Susan. No, I really want to pick up that desk and throw it at you. A lot. Oh, yeah, whatever. You are seriously going to defend your sister over my granddaughter, my daughter, your grandchild? Yeah. You're going to defend yourself. Let me make sure I understand this accurately. One more time. You are seriously going to defend your sister instead of my daughter, your grandchild? Yes. See that line that I just proverbially drew? And Anna looked at me, she goes, yeah, it's a little dusty in here. Okay. Don't cross it. Because you've already crossed an imaginary, invisible line by you taking her side. I will never forgive you for that. Know that. Oh, you're being so overdramatic. No. If you continue to defend your sister instead of my daughter, your grandchild, don't push past that line. Like I told your sister years ago, keep your nose on your side of the fence. Don't cross it. Mike, my biologic father, is watching back and forth like a tennis match. Just like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like, which way do I go? I don't know what to do. Like, I've never seen her that mad. And yet, like, it kind of feels like she has a right to be that mad, but you're not. And yeah. So, I found it befitting that Christine worked in prison. And on my way out of the house, when Anna, my biological mother, continued her side, and my biological aunt, Christine's side, I walked out after getting everything ready to go. I gave my Aunt Edith a hug, my maternal Aunt Edith, and gave my maternal grandmother a hug. I looked at my biological Aunt Christine, and I said, it would be a shame if there was a problem in prison when you went in next time, or sometime in the future. Wishing it doesn't happen. And she looked at me and she's like, you're so overdramatic. That would be such a shame. Walked out of the house. Mike runs after me. What was that? I'm just saying, it would be a shame. You know, I've done some stuff, yeah. Uh-huh. I was actually scared for her. Why? And I caught the rest of the... I was infuriated. I have every right to be to this day. And if something happened, I don't know what prison she worked at. But I wouldn't feel bad at all, in the slightest. At all. But I have no idea what her daughter looks like. I barely remember what she looks like from prior to my head injury. So, I just figured that it was important for me to make this video about that. You guys have a good one.